How to shrink polyester. Polyester is a durable material that resists shrinkage. This is great if you plan to use your dryer, but less so when you get a shirt that's too big. However, if you dedicate time and effort to it, you can actively shrink clothing made of polyester. If you don't need the garment to shrink too much, you should only need to use your washing machine and dryer. If you need more significant shrinkage, you can use an iron. Part 1: Washing and Drying. 1. Turn the garment inside out. Before washing or drying the garment, you should turn it inside out to prevent the colors from fading. While polyester has a resistance to both fading and bleeding, this resistance can be broken if you are using extremely high heat. Heat that is high enough to shrink polyester is also high enough to cause the color to fade, especially if you need to repeat the procedure several times. Turning the garment inside out will reduce the amount of fading that occurs on the front of the garment. It will not make much difference to the amount of bleeding that occurs, though, so you should perform this tactic to the polyester separately from other clothing or only with light colors. 2. Wash the garment in extremely hot water. Set the washing machine to the hottest water setting and the longest wash cycle. Make sure to use both a hot wash and a hot rinse. Hot water is much more effective for shrinking polyester than cold water. You do not need to add detergent to the washing machine as you run the garment through the cycle, but it won't interfere with the shrinking process. Only add detergent if you're looking to wash the garment as you shrink it. 3. Immediately transfer the garment to the dryer. Dry the polyester garment using the hottest heat setting and the longest drying cycle. Check the garment for shrinkage after pulling it out of the dryer and letting it cool to room temperature. If additional shrinkage is necessary, repeat the washing and drying steps to further reduce the size. Note that the more often you wash and dry the garment, the more color fading you may notice. Only attempt this a few more times. If you still cannot achieve significant shrinkage, consider using an iron. Part 2: Using an iron. 1. Transfer the garment to an ironing board. If the garment hasn't shrunk enough after a few wash and dry cycles, you'll need to iron it. Immediately after a washing cycle finishes, pull the polyester garment from the machine and transfer it to an ironing board. The garment should still be wet. Make sure that the garment is still inside out to reduce the risk of fading. 2. Lay a pressing cloth over the garment. Make sure the cloth completely covers your garment. This will prevent the iron from damaging your clothing. 3. Iron on a low to medium heat setting. Pass the iron over the entirety of the clothing. Continue ironing the garment until it is completely dried. Only use a low to medium heat setting to prevent the polyester from becoming stiff and unusable. Do not use a steam setting on the iron. A dry iron will dry out the polyester as you pass over it, which is the effect you're looking for. Examine the finished garment for shrinkage. Make sure not to repeat the ironing process, as this could damage the polyester and cause colors to fade.